OTAKING Seminar Special Edition. This lecture will prepare you to watch Porco Rosso on TV tonight and tweet some cool trivia about the movie. Then people will think you are an enthusiastic Porco Rosso fan. Well, some of you might think my viewpoints are rather twisted than trivial, but they will definitely add up to your enjoyment when you see the show tonight. You don't need to hear them, but you will enjoy the film more if you do. Miyazaki's animes are full of these hidden trivia, so I'll introduce you to some for Porco Rosso. The lecture will take about 20 to 25 minutes. At the end of the lecture, I'll talk about this major crisis at the climax that strikes Porco that's caused by his relationship with Theo. So please stay with me until the end. So, the first point, I'll refer to the minute based on the DVD, not the ones on the TV broadcast. It's 3 minutes in the DVD. It's Porco's hideout. There you see Porco in the cockpit starting the engine. And here, when he starts the engine, the large propellers are already spinning. Then when he sits right here, do you see this tiny one? This starts spinning slowly. It starts spinning afterwards because it receives air from the large front propeller. There's a different function for this. It's a small wind turbine. Let me explain. This comes out in the original manga of Porco Rosso that Miyazaki drew prior to the movie. The same depiction of this feature of his plane is in the manga. There are large engines on top of the wings. However, the gasoline tank is installed right in front of Porco, which means he has to pump up the gasoline to generate the engine. But, of course, an electric pump was rare back then, so they needed to come up with an alternative. That's how they came up with this wind turbine. There will always be wind thanks to the propeller in the front. The turbine can receive the wind and pump the gasoline up to the engines. The system is quite complicated, not easy to handle. Think of Italian cars. Think of how those cars look fashionable, but also flimsy. The wind turbine is like them. Porco bitches about how it breaks so easily, but I think he actually likes this Italian quality. Some of you may have thought, no, the turbine is an airspeed indicator. If you think they are, though, I'd say you are airplane geeks. I love talking about airplanes, so I'll talk about why you airplane geeks may confuse the wind turbine with an airspeed indicator in the main broadcast this Sunday. Next, the battle with Mama Yuto gang. So, according to the DVD, it's after 6 minutes. It's an extremely short scene. You first see Porco passing in front of Mama Yuto plane. This is a still shot. These are the streaks that are left in the air after the plane passes. It's a dynamic effect that you can paint by swiftly running a brush on top of a cell. I haven't seen many effects like this one in anime. It's an impressive scene. The image of Porco's plane passing by the enemy plane looks cool. And I think that's because of these streaks, dynamically colored in red, white, and green. So, I don't know the right word. Maybe manga-ish? I see this effect more in manga than anime. It stands out because this is the only scene in the film with such dramatized expression. At 6 minutes or 6.5, it disappears quickly, so look carefully. It'll surprise you. The battle between Porco and the Mama Yuto gang, I don't have the image of it, but when you watch the film on TV, count the number of his machine gun shots. He uses 8 shots to destroy the first engine, then 12 shots to shoot off the tail. There's a reason for this. Porco doesn't shoot the machine gun to kill. He has loaded only 20 bullets in the 2 machine guns. Porco comments that if he loads more than 20 bullets, the battle will turn into a war. So, after this, Porco's plane approaches the enemy plane and the boss of the gang comes out. He yells, "Come on, you pig!" But at this point, Porco's plane has no more bullets loaded in the machine guns. He's making a big bluff. Porco is confident that by shooting off the engine and the tail, he can make the Mama Yuto gang surrender. So he doesn't use all 20 bullets randomly. With no bullets, he flies straight into the enemy, but the subordinates of the gang hold him back and wave the flag saying, "We'll surrender!" But then, why did he take such risk? He could have been killed for having only 20 bullets. He surely is reckless, but it's going to be a long story to explain why he is. So please wait until I talk about it on Sunday. Next, about 9 minutes and a half have passed on DVD. At Hotel Adriano, Madame Gina is singing. She's singing a song in French. The French song that she's singing is called Le Temps des Cerises, or The Time of Cherries. And Gina's lip movements completely match the lyrics. It's a method called lip sync. Very old Disney movies used to use this method in Japan. Akira is famous for using lip sync as well. To use this method, the acting precedes the animation drawings, so the drawings of the lips can match the voice. Akira did this differently, where instead of showing the real actors, they just took vowels from the script and noted it on the storyboard. The animators drew the shapes of the characters' mouths based on the storyboard. That directed how to open or close the mouths. That's why when you watch Akira, you can see the Japanese lines perfectly matching the lips of the characters. The scene with Gina is kind of like that. Actually, even better, because this one took it a step further. They did a location shooting at this Russian food restaurant in Aoyama. Or maybe it was Indian. I'm not completely sure. Anyway, they invited singer Tokiko Kato there and videotaped her singing there. Then they did the lip syncing. This photo was taken during that recording. This one. Look how happy Miyazaki seems. Extremely happy looking Miyazaki, finally meeting Kato, his long-standing aspiration. Now, Kato was invited just to sing the song. 2 featured songs, one for the end credits, and that was supposed to be it. But Miyazaki fell in love with her overwhelming performance, so he gave her the role of Gina. Speaking of Tokiko Kato, she's one amazingly unique woman. Hopefully, I'll have a chance to talk about her in another lecture. Next, 40 minutes have passed on DVD. Porco's in Milano. He's having his broken airplane fixed. Somehow, Porco meets Fio in a town, and Fio gives Porco a ride with her truck. You see the company name right here, Fiat. Same brand that made the engine of Porco's airplane. Fiat is the company that made Lupin's tiny car in the Castle of Cagliostro. You know that famous car of his. Fiat made that tiny car as well as this sturdy looking truck. And what's interesting about this scene is where Porco wildly turns his horizontally attached steering wheel of the truck. Because it's horizontal, Fio would only be able to drive by holding the lower part like this. But Porco is strong enough to give it a full turn like this. This depiction is fun to watch. And trucks back in the days had the steering wheels installed at this angle to give more space for the gears. Perhaps many modern trucks are designed similarly. Now, the windows. The upper half of the front window opens forward like this. This is common for large European cars. You can enjoy all these details during the broadcast for extra enjoyment. So definitely check them out when you watch the movie.